back to IFRS. I'm Adedamla and I run this financial reporting blog. I created this relocation playlist to share with you my experience in getting a job in Canada from Nigeria. And I told you to put in some questions and then I'll make videos to answer them. So this video is in response to some of the questions that you've asked. So what I did is to collate them over the 1 week of releasing the last video so that we have enough to share with you guys. Okay, so I'll be sharing with you some of the facts that relates to getting a work visa sponsorship. Okay, so let's get started. So I'll be looking at my screen just to talk you through some of those points that I've noted. And on your screen, you will see the question asked and then I will talk through the answers. So if you're yet to watch the previous videos, you may need to check them out first so that you can build an understanding of what we are discussing here, so that it doesn't seem too far away from what you need to understand. So I've put the links in the description box. You can go to the description box and then go through those videos before you watch this. It may help you build a better understanding of what we're talking about. And please, if you have been watching my videos, please subscribe so that you can get notification of subsequent videos. Because of the location where I am, especially if you're in Nigeria, if I make a post, it may not come to your timeline. Yeah, so you may as well just subscribe and hit the notification button so that each time I make a post, you're able to view them. Alright, so let's get started. The first question here says, did you write IELTS? Although I responded to some people, I would also like to put it out here that no, I did not write IELTS. IELTS is the International English Language Test. That's a means of testing or assessing whether you truly understand the English language. I didn't have to write it for the work visa sponsorship that I got. Then another recurring question that I got was that, did I pay for the visa application or my employer sponsored me? I didn't have to pay for visa application. The employer made the payment on my behalf and even for my dependent as well. So I didn't have to pay. The application was done by them. And then all I needed to do was to go for whatever test or assessment that they tell me to go for. So the basic things that I paid for was, I paid for the medicals. The medical that I paid for was around 46,500 for each person. Yeah, so I don't know what the cost will be now, but the payment I made was between March 2022 to October 2022. I paid around that period of time. So I don't know what the cost may be, but I don't think it should be significantly different from what I paid for. Yeah, so I paid for 6,500 per person for the medicals. Now another thing I paid for is, I didn't have to pay for biometrics. Biometrics is free. Then I had to pay for the police certificate. As at the time when I paid for the police certificate was 10,000 naira per person, but now I heard that it is around 40,000 to 50,000 naira per person. Yeah, so you may also need to budget for that. Then another thing that I had to pay for is getting my transcript. Yeah, so you need to get your transcript ahead of time. I believe it even makes more sense to start processing it now. And some questions that I was asked in respect to that is that, did I have to send my transcript directly to my employer? No, I already got my transcript. So I requested for my transcript from my school and they sent it directly to me. So all I needed to do was to just scan them and send it to my employer. Then another question I always see is, did I have to make a provision for proof of fund? So because it is work visa sponsorship, the route did not require me to provide the proof of fund. Yeah, so it's important to put that up there. I didn't have to provide a proof of fund because I think they believe that since your employer has already employed you and then you are going there to work, then it means that there will be regular inflows of cash based on the fact that you are working with the company. So I think that may be the reason why I wasn't asked to provide a proof of fund. But I know that those that will go through the express entry route, they always have to provide proof of fund. But I didn't have to provide that. Then another question that is, like, I get that in my mail every time is, please review my CV. In the last video I sent, I made a description of how you should actually present your CV, the things that are needed, and so on and so forth. So please check that video. I also have it in the description link, so please check it out. And in the video I also provided a review website. That's a website where you can just upload your resume and then it automatically reviews your CV. It is called TOPCV.com. Please note, this is not an advertisement for them. This is just to give you an access to be able to review your CV by yourself. So once you go to TOPCV, I'll put that in the somewhere around there. So once you go to your to the website, you just upload your resume. It will review it for you and it will give you points that you need to work on in order to improve your CV. And there's another one that I found recently. It is called resumeworded.com. I'll put the link in the description box, and I'll also put it somewhere around there. So you can upload your CV on both sites, and then they will give you review comments, and then you can use that to improve on your CV. Because I can't literally respond to everybody that asks me to review their CV. It is not humanly possible. Okay, so another question that I get asked is that what are the documents needed? I think I mentioned some of them earlier. So basically what you need, of course, you need your international passport, you need your transcript, you need your, if you are married, you need your marriage certificate, you also need your birth certificate, and you need the police certificate. Are the major documents that you may need to start preparing towards getting them ready. Then somebody was asking me that since it is a work visa sponsorship, why do you need your school transcripts? I think it answers itself, because if you've actually applied for a job and interviewed for the job, most likely, aside from the fact that you are being employed based on your work experience, you're also being employed based on the fact that you have the educational requirements. Then another question I got was that how did I manage with respect to my resumption date? You know, because of the timeline between when I got the offer and when I eventually got the visa, it was quite long. It took me about 8 months. So the question was that how did I manage that? Because I mean, when they sent me the offer letter, they would have put a certain date of resumption, but because of how long it is, what would have happened? So what happened in my own case is that I got the offer around March, and I was supposed to resume in June because that was the date that they put. So because of the timeline, I had to send them a mail that, look, this thing will take more than what is expected. Yeah, so what they told me is that they already included it in the offer letter that the date is flexible. Yeah, so they just put that date that they put there initially as a placeholder, but the date is flexible. So what it means is that regardless of how long it takes, the understanding is that at the end, when you get your work visa, that is when they now give you the exact date of resumption. We may be just maybe 1 week or 2 weeks after you got the work visa, because that will allow you time to book for travels and all. So it is not, I mean, the employer that is trying to employ you also understands how long it takes. So they don't have a fixed date to say, if you don't resume this date, then that's the end. It's not possible, because they are also invested in the process as well. Yeah, so that's about that. Then another question is with respect to, did I have to interview at Canada consular? Was there a visa interview? Did I go through a visa interview before eventually getting? So I did not go through a visa interview. There's no need for that. It is if you are going to the USA that I believe that you have to go for a visa interview in Nigeria. But for Canada, I didn't have to go for a visa interview. Then another question I received was that who provides the LMI? Because I see some people mention that, oh, while they're trying to apply for a job, they see a description that talks about providing LMI. So LMI is not your concern. It is the company that is the employer that actually needs to request for the LMI. So the LMI is simply saying that it's called Labor Market Impact Assessment. So it's simply saying that the employer has tried to employ from Canada, that is within Canada, but they could not get anybody suitable for the role. Therefore, they are looking to get foreign workers to come and work with them. That's the essence of the LMI. So it's more like an approval that is being given by the RCC to the employers. So LMI is not your own concern. Your own concern is to go and apply to the job. The employer will process the LMI by themselves. So that was my own experience, and I believe that that should actually be the same for others as well. But either way, by the time you apply for the job and all, you could also probably push that question to your employer as well. Then another question that I got was with respect to when you eventually get to Canada, at the port of entry, what are the questions? So basically the way it works is that before you leave Nigeria, before it used to be that you are supposed to fill up a particular questionnaire on an app. It's an app developed by the Canada immigration government themselves. So basically what you do is you go to that app and then you upload your information and all before you go. But this time around you don't need to do that. You could as well just go to Canada, and once you get to the port of entry, you will be on the queue and then you put in all the necessary information on that platform. So that's basically how that works. Then the questions that you get asked is pretty much basic questions based on my own experience. They just ask you about what kind of job do you want to do, why are you coming here. I mean, they are just pretty much basic questions that you should know because you have applied to the job. You know where you're working, where you're going to start working, you know who your employer is. So they are just basic questions. So what I will do is I'll put a link in the description box. You can just go there and go through that link, because I see that it is more detailed and somebody has already described the whole process itself. So you could as well just go to the link and then see how it works. It makes it easier for you to prepare yourself for that. So that's pretty much it. If you have more questions, please put in the description box. Please share, like, comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.